In Soviet Union there was a 5 stages from invention to mass production. 5 stages: design, R&D, pilot production, experimental, industrial, mass production. Each stage 5 years, so total 25 years. Correct, but terms, I'll tell you. 2. Organized production. Technologies of wheel motor, which consists of only 5 units. Sorry. If I am a man of modest abilities, not the master, not handyman, and I build this motor here in 2 weeks. The turner laid the rim for me, the top. And the rest is a skill of worker, assembler. You mounting inductor inside. Mounting like a spark plugs, current collectors, and that's all. Soldering takes 10-12 minutes of all commutations. Deduce a single positive lead, and forward you go, with song and music. Simply connect the battery. I have examples where I demonstrate to all. Look. No single transistor, diode, nothing. Just like the end of the 19th century. You turn on the battery on a motorcycle. I connect 2 small batteries. By simple switch you close the circuit, and the motor starts up. Reach speed of 40 kilometers per hour. Such a simple technology, and to not master it for a half a year. And 25 years, it's just ridiculous. Well, what is mold? Matrix. Press stamp. This is about 2 months. That's it, and can be done faster, and as soon as it starts to work. Magnets been sent me in 3 weeks. From China, box unloaded, and I started working. Was enough for me for the year. And to start production, you just need to multiply these actions. That's all. On the assembly line not only Vasily Shkondin should stand. Unique Mobility, Denver, Colorado, the most advanced U.S. firm, which each year participates in competition in Australia. They cross the whole Australia on solar batteries. I came to the States at Unique Mobility. We signed a non-disclosure agreement. I showed them the engine. We have different approaches. They have a high-speed motor, which through reduction gear, a transmission spinning the wheels. They say, you know, we putting your motor in there, it low RPM. I say it has high speed, yes. Speed is good, but by God, we can't get it well. They just do not understand what happens and why. There is a DC motor. Typical. It develops 11,000 revolutions per minute. Well, these engines are the beginning of the century. But they, due to institutes of materials, they used plastics, composites, supermagnets. Now I never had more than 1.2 Tesla, they have 3.3. I say, there is no such magnets. But we have. I say, I congratulate you. Your success is a success of the institutes of materials. But motor is normal, and is not even patented. Been here from Electosteel. I told them about 3.3 Tesla. They say, we make 4.65. I say, it cannot be, if 1.2 impossible to separate. 4 Tesla, a special device needed. for me enough these simple magnets for what I'm doing now? If bring to you €1 million, could you organize a production? It is too little. How much needed? Well, came here one friend of Lyshenko, I told you, and thank God. There is Leo Valyanovich, and there is his friend. In Krakchino there is his country house and manufacturing facility of this billionaire, Boris Savitsky. And he came here, and at once, at a glance showed what costs this invention. Here's the speedy bicycle. Super. I wrote him a letter of attorney, in the territory of Canada. Permission. Here's a snapshot. Super. From 0 to 60 kilometers per hour in 3 seconds. In 2 weeks, I told you, here he is. I was so surprised. Not invited me to Moscow, but came himself. How much do you think GM gives? Well, 10. 90. What in this for Boris? I'm saying 50%. Well, sure, to get $45 million for nothing, he says, okay. And makes a colossal mistake. On New York local television shows it all, as it picks up the speed. Does wheelies, everything. Immediately called to him, we are from Ultra Motors Company, I parted with them. And this is a new patent, but they had written, that's everything of what I invent in the future. All belongs to them, idiotic, also all adjacent inventions. They said to him, we'll be right there with the police, and take it away. Boris got scared terribly, says, I know the Americans. He went to New Jersey and did it in garages. I got a call. You lied to me. It does not belong to you. I say, Boris, send them away. It's completely new patent. And as for the contract, which in their hands, they'll come out of the courtroom in handcuffs. So I told by the British, this cannot be written at all. How is it? A man who did not got paid a dime will work for them for life? His relatives, they certainly got duped terribly. And now this Boris Savitsky got glad with how it all turned out and said, hell with them. And in Krakchino, I went there, where Lyshenko's country house, he really have a plant there. Produces trailers for Volvo, he won the tender, on the territory of Russia created the factory. Although a citizen of America, I came, well, the plant, although produces this all. I looked, it is possible, in general to begin, he says, how much do you need? Well, I do not know nothing, I say, well, maybe a 3 million. He, 4, here. For him it's like for us to buy a box of matches. He has 14 billion. Well, 4 is 4. All of a sudden he calls me and says, economic planning whatever department's calculated. Considering our options in Krakchino, on his hands all the documents and all. So they said, no less than $40 million. I'm afraid to start. Right, I say, this cannot be. Because, by my standards, well, here I'm spending a pennies to make it. You know, I thought, my God, 4 million. Now I will start big. Right, but this approach based on what? When Mikhail Prokhorov regarding production of U-Mobile priced his project in $200 million. Initially some experts have said that it looks like a fiction, because in order to run this kind of project, it requires a minimum of 5 times more. Around $1 billion, so when it all collapsed, it was understandable, but in this case, now what is unique? That a huge number of parts and units are produced somewhere, and now with precise manufacturing, can be ordered this alloy rim, anything else, exact parts, not needed to have in production. Most important is to give a precise tech specification. Well, that's the right idea. I'll tell you that now we looked more deeply at these things. Technologies. Made a list of what we need a minimum, and the maximum has already been developed. and well developed. Here's an example. A magnet. Why the hell I'm going to bake them here when I can get it from China? So I got 2 boxes for a pennies. Yes. I went to Vladimir City on Magneton, where my friend is the CEO, and I paid $110 per kilogram. Here, it's a 7, and Chinese are better. Coercivity is not as high as in our defense. But this is enough for things such as scooter, bicycle, even our rickshaw on Chinese magnets runs. She is already 7 years old. And to slow down, nothing like that. So it is the coolest thing that appeared in the Institutes of Materials. These brand new magnets, composite materials, magnetically soft materials. These are the 3 items. It is a green street for transport, cheap, eternal, nothing to break there. The question on soft iron here came from Kaneshma, director of the famous factory. Says, you guys, assembling these platelets only wasting a time, losses, each plate. Varnish covered, you know. Yes, the gap between them, stray currents, heating. Moreover, most importantly, magnetic flux, resistance, which is important for the torque, minimal losses, unresistance. Number of turns, the more the better. Length of the magnet, I have not learned how to bake for more than 50 millimeters. If more, it's falling apart. Now they have 250, already have, okay, thank God. 2 years ago, they haven't. Now we can make it for yachts. Wonderful, the British sent the order. Mr. Wilder. 100 letters already, I have them in a folder. Wilder says he had intrigued the Ministry of the Ship Industry. They said that this is an indispensable engine. They saw the test certificates of Crompton-Greaves, an Indian company. They kept motor an hour underwater, then put on the stand, and 9 days tested. For the yacht it's just super, RPM, torque there, etc. and simplicity, so we can provide for almost all kinds of transportation. Ranging from golf carts, I made them for the Koreans. Invitation by the Minister of Science and Technology of South Korea. There are pictures in the newspapers. We are together, and I made it in a military plant. It is 25 kilometers from Seoul. Plant produces toothpaste, toothbrushes for military, detonators and parachutes. That's it. Rich all devils. 54 people, only for the Army of South Korea. I got there and in 2 weeks we built 2 motors for golf carts to put a golf clubs. And the girl pushes a button. 12-volt battery. They were just in shock. And why they got not so widely interested, but only like this. Engaged in golf are the minister and his friend. This director of military factory, that's it. So they've been limited.